chosen one, listen carefully. Heaven has interrupted your timeline for a reason. The noise around you stops now, not by coincidence, but by command. The Spirit of God has pressed pause on your distractions because you are standing in a dangerous place spiritually, emotionally, and even physically. There is an invisible hand steering you back from the edge, whispering, "Pay attention. This message is not random. You have wandered through storms, questioned why the winds rage against you, and wondered if God still remembers your name. But this is your divine interruption, the moment when heaven breaks through the static of your life to warn and to rescue. You are not like the rest. You are marked. That is why the attacks have been relentless. The enemy does not waste his energy on the ordinary. He targets the chosen. Every setback you faced, every betrayal that cut deep, every lonely night when you felt forgotten, it was all part of the battle for your destiny. You've been under fire not because you are weak, but because you are dangerous to darkness. Hell trembles at what God placed inside you. That's why temptation tried to derail you. That's why confusion tried to silence you. But hear this, your life is not spiraling out of control. It is being rerouted by heaven. The divine interruption is mercy in motion. God will not let you destroy yourself by walking blind into the enemy's net. You've been praying for answers, and this is one of them. Heaven says, "Stop, listen, return. There's still time. You've been fighting unseen battles, and lately, the pressure has felt unbearable. The enemy whispers that it's too late, that you've failed beyond repair. But that voice is a liar. The truth is that grace still stands at your door, knocking. You've been marked for survival, not destruction. This is not the end, it is the awakening. You are surrounded by danger that doesn't always look dangerous. It looks like compromise. It looks like comfort that keeps you spiritually asleep. It looks like people who smile at you but drain your light. God is revealing the real threat, not what is seen, but what is unseen. The danger isn't just outside, it's also within the heart that grows cold toward His calling. That is why this interruption matters. It's heaven's emergency alert for your soul. Look around your life. Chosen one. What has been pulling your focus from your purpose? What has kept you too distracted to pray? Too busy to obey? Too tired to believe? That's where the danger hides. The plan of darkness has always been to numb you until you forget who you are. But you are awakening now. The Spirit of God is reigniting something ancient within you: faith, power, authority, fire. Do not ignore this moment. You are being summoned back to alignment, back to purpose, back to the divine plan written over your life before the world began. The enemy has been trying to convince you that your mistakes disqualified you. Heaven disagrees. Grace still has your name etched upon it. Mercy is still running toward you. You are still chosen. You are still loved. You are still covered. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 46, verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. Stillness is not weakness, it is strategy. It's in the stillness that clarity comes, where fear loses its grip, and where divine direction becomes unmistakable. God is not calling you to panic, He is calling you to pause. Stop running in circles. Stop doubting your worth. Stop listening to voices that feed your fear. Stand still long enough for heaven to reveal the next move. You are not abandoned in this moment. You are being recalibrated. The divine interruption is the evidence that God still fights for you. He still believes in the purpose He placed within you. The angels that once guarded prophets and kings are surrounding you now. Heaven's assignment over your life has not been cancelled. Chosen one. This is your moment to act. Share this message so others can awaken before it's too late. Like this word, if it stirs something deep within you, comment below to declare your alignment with heaven. And if you have not yet done so, subscribe. Stay connected to this flow of divine revelation, because what comes next will strengthen your spirit for what's ahead. Now, take a deep breath. Feel the weight lift. The warning has been delivered, but so has the promise. If you return to God's plan, no danger can destroy you. The divine interruption is not punishment, it is protection. Heaven stopped time just to save your life. Comment. 777. You feel it, don't you? Chosen one. The tension in the atmosphere, the invisible pressure that never seems to leave. You wake up tired, though you've slept. Heavy, though nothing seems wrong. That is not coincidence. It is the residue of a war that has been waged around you long before you could see it. You are in the middle of an unseen war. Every thought, every emotion, every choice is a battlefield. There are forces that hate what heaven has placed inside you. Not people, not circumstances, but ancient powers that move through temptation, fear, and discouragement. They whisper lies designed to make you doubt your worth and your calling. That's why the heaviness comes in waves. It is not just life being hard, it is resistance from realms that recognize who you are. The moment you decided to rise, darkness decided to retaliate. You are not weak for feeling the conflict. You are proof that light is stirring. The more you pursue holiness, the more the shadows push back. The enemy cannot destroy what is sealed by God, but he can distract, delay, and drain you if you remain unaware. That is why understanding this unseen war matters. You've been trained to fight with logic, but this battle does not respond to logic, it responds to faith. You cannot outthink spirits, you must outshine them. Prayer is your weapon. Worship is your defense. The word of God is your sword, and your obedience is the shield that cannot be pierced. Heaven's soldiers fight not with fists but with fire, faith that refuses to bow, praise that echoes through the darkness. Every time you choose love, when hate would be easier, you strike a blow against the enemy. Every time you forgive, instead of retaliate, you win ground in the spirit. Every time you speak truth when lies surround you, you shift the balance of this invisible war. Do not be deceived by appearances. Some of the battles that feel personal are not personal at all. They are spiritual. The confusion at your job, the sudden fear that grips you at night, the feeling of distance from God, all symptoms of a deeper conflict. Hell is terrified of your awakening. That's why it's trying to make you numb. You are not powerless. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead dwells in you. The same power that silenced storms and cast out demons flows through your words when you speak in alignment with heaven. The enemy knows this, and that's why he fights to silence your voice. But you cannot afford silence anymore. Silence gives permission to darkness. Speak life. Declare truth. Command peace. There are angels assigned to you, real ones, not symbolic ones. They move when you pray with faith. They fight when you stand firm. They guard your steps when you align with obedience. You have never walked through any night alone, though it has often felt that way. Even now, as you read these words, the unseen war shifts because your awareness is rising. You are not a victim, you are a weapon. The world calls it coincidence when things suddenly change for the better after you pray. But heaven calls it victory. Every answered prayer, every sudden peace after chaos, every protection from unseen harm, that is the evidence of warfare won on your behalf. Do not fear the dark. Fear forgetting who you are. You are not meant to merely survive. You are meant to command the atmosphere. You are heaven's ambassador on earth. And your authority extends beyond what your eyes can see. That's why this war rages, because you carry influence in realms you have yet to understand. As it is written in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers, dark world rulers, spiritual wickedness in high places. Those words are not poetry, they are revelation. You have been wrestling with more than people. That argument that shattered your peace, that temptation that appeared at your weakest moment, that sudden wave of doubt, all coordinated strikes meant to drain your fire. But now you see, and when you see, you can fight. You fight by staying pure when compromise would be easier. You fight by guarding your heart when others mock your faith. You fight by standing in truth when lies sound louder. The unseen war does not end quickly, but it ends surely in victory for those who refuse to surrender. The danger around you is real, but the power within you is greater. The Spirit of the living God has trained your hands for war, not with weapons made of metal, but with words filled with light. You are a soldier of heaven. And every moment you stand firm, the darkness trembles. Chosen one, can you feel the stirring within your spirit? That quiet unease, that restlessness that refuses to be silenced. It is not anxiety. It is awakening. The whisper of God has been trying to reach you through the noise of your thoughts. But lately, the enemy has increased the volume of distractions. He fears what will happen the moment you truly hear. Heaven's voice is not thunder. This time it is a whisper, gentle but unmistakable, saying, "Come back to me." And you've noticed the strange timing of things lately, doors that almost opened but didn't, plans that almost succeeded but crumbled at the last moment. These are not coincidences. They are divine interruptions meant to get your attention. God is not punishing you. He is protecting you. You prayed for direction, and the delay was His answer. Sometimes heaven says, wait, not because you're unworthy, but because what's waiting ahead would wound you if you rushed into it too soon. The whisper and the warning are coming at once. You've been asking, Lord, what are you saying to me? Listen closely. He is saying that compromise will cost too much now. There was a season when you could drift and still find your way back easily. But that grace window is narrowing. The deeper your calling, the narrower your path. That is why your spirit feels pressed. It's being refined to hear clearly again. The enemy does not fear your prayers. He fears your obedience. He knows you can quote scripture, but what terrifies him is when you begin to live it. That is why confusion has been heavy lately. It is spiritual fog meant to drown out the whisper of heaven. But the voice of God is not lost. It is still speaking through peace, through conviction, through that inner knowing that something has to change now. You have been distracted by voices that sound good, but are not God. Advice from people who do not carry your calling. Opinions from hearts not aligned with your destiny. Heaven is calling you to silence the noise and return to the secret place. That is where your clarity is. You will not find it in the crowd. You will find it in stillness. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 27, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." That is the essence of your identity. You are known, you are heard, and you are led. You were never meant to wander aimlessly, guessing what comes next. The shepherd's voice is closer than your breath. He has been speaking in the quiet moments when your heart suddenly felt peace during chaos, when you sensed a nudge to walk away from something that looked right but felt wrong. That was not intuition, it was instruction. The warning is simple but serious. The wrong voice can destroy the right destiny. The enemy has been mimicking heaven's tone, offering shortcuts that promise relief but end in regret. Every false path begins with a small compromise, a subtle whisper that says, "It's not that serious." But it is that serious, because obedience détermine outcome. Chosen one. If you feel torn between two choices, step back. The right voice never rushes you, it anchors you. God's direction carry peace, not pressure. The voice of the enemy will always urge you to move fast, act without praying, choose without clarity. But heaven's whisper says, wait. The delay is protection, not punishment. This season is not about doing more, it's about hearing better. If you can discern his whisper in the storm, you will walk on water like Peter did. You will move through danger untouched because you are walking by revelation, not reaction. The enemy cannot touch those who move in rhythm with heaven. You have prayed for open doors, now pray for open ears. God is not hiding his will, he is hiding it from those who refuse stillness. But you are not one of them. You are awakening now, tuning your heart to the frequency of truth. When you hear the whisper, respond quickly. When conviction comes, don't argue, obey. The longer you delay, the fainter his voice becomes, not because he stops speaking, but because the noise around you grows louder. Protect your atmosphere. Chosen one, guard your gates, your eyes, your ears, your heart. What you allow determines what voice dominates within. Now, before you move on, pause. Let your spirit respond. Comment. Speak. Lord. Write it as a declaration. When you comment those words, you are not typing into the void, you are announcing to heaven that you are ready to listen again. It is a prophetic act, an open invitation for divine instruction to flow without interference. God honors that posture of surrender, because once the whisper becomes your compass, no storm can mislead you again. You have reached a place where the battlefield has changed its shape. The danger now hides behind smiles, opportunities, and distractions that look harmless. These are the hidden traps of the enemy, snares carefully laid, not in front of your eyes, but around your desires. They appeal to your emotions, to your impatience, to your need for validation. This is why discernment is no longer optional, it is survival. The enemy rarely attacks with something obviously evil. He disguises his weapons in what seems good, harmless, even helpful. He offers shortcuts to purpose. Counterfeit love that mimics divine connection. Open doors that look like blessings but lead to bondage. You've been wondering why some things that looked perfect turned into pain. This is why. Every trap begins with attraction. The enemy studies your patterns, your history, your weaknesses, and then he crafts bait that feels familiar. That relationship that started with flattery but ended with spiritual exhaustion. That job that promised freedom but drained your peace. That sudden chance that looked divine but demanded compromise. These were not accidents. They were assignments. You were targeted not because you are weak, but because you are valuable. Hell only invests in what heaven intends to use. Be alert. Chosen one. Every season of transition attracts traps. When you are close to breakthrough, the counterfeit always comes first. It shows up to test your discernment, to see if you can tell the difference between the voice of God and the voice of your own desire. The enemy does not fear your faith, he fears your focus. If he can't destroy you, he'll distract you. If he can't stop you, he'll slow you. His goal is not always to make you fall, it's to make you settle. Understand this, the traps are strategic. They are designed to look like the very thing you've been praying for. The enemy knows he cannot tempt you with what you've outgrown, so he packages deception in the shape of your current desire. That's why you must wait for confirmation from the Spirit before you move. Do not rush into anything that requires you to lower your standards or silence your convictions. You are not being paranoid when you sense something is off. That's discernment. The spirit within you is alert. When your peace feels disturbed, pause. Peace is the language of heaven. Confusion is the signal of deception. Every time you lose peace about a person or a plan, that's God whispering. Step back. Heaven does not compete with manipulation. God will never pressure you into something. The trap always comes with urgency, with flattery, with a false sense of opportunity that says, if you don't take this now, you'll miss your chance. But destiny is never rushed. What is divine cannot be lost by patience. The world will tell you to seize every open door. Heaven teaches you to test every open door. Not every opportunity is ordained. Not every connection is covenant. You must learn to discern the difference between access and assignment. Some doors are wide but lead nowhere. Others are narrow but open into eternity. Heaven is training your spiritual senses now. What once fooled you will no longer pass your discernment. You are entering a stage where clarity is your shield. You will begin to see intentions before they speak, traps before they trigger, and darkness before it moves. This is not suspicion, it is sight. As it is written in the first letter of Peter, chapter 5, verse 8, Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. And this scripture is not to scare you, it is to awaken you. The adversary is patient. He studies before he strikes. He watches for fatigue, for pride, for loneliness, for distraction. That's when he lays his traps. But when you stay sober in spirit, clear, focused, prayerful, his snares lose their grip. Vigilance is not fear, it is wisdom. You are not defenseless. God has given you instincts that are divine. Every unease you feel in your spirit is not paranoia. It's heaven sounding an alarm. Trust those holy warnings. Trust the stillness that says, wait. Trust the tightening in your heart that whispers, Something is wrong. Those are not coincidences. They are your protection systems activating. Soon, you will look back and thank God for every trap you never fell into, for every door that stayed closed, for every person who left before they could drain your purpose. You will see that the delay was safety, that the loss was mercy, that the silence was strategy. You've stood long in battle, chosen one, weathering storms that seemed designed to break you. But heaven whispers, you are not defenseless. You were never meant to fight with bare hands or a weary soul. The shield of the chosen was crafted for you before the first arrow ever flew. It gleams unseen, forged from faith, truth, and the quiet fire of obedience. You have carried it all along, though you did not realize it. There is a strength that does not shout. It doesn't come from muscle or might, but from endurance, a strength that rises when the flesh collapses. You felt fragile, but fragility in God's hands becomes fortitude. The battles that nearly broke you were actually forging your armor. Each prayer in the dark became a link in your chainmail. Each tear a drop of holy oil, sealing your heart against despair. The enemy has tried again and again to pierce you with fear, to convince you that you are losing. But you were built for this. Your shield was designed not for decoration, but for collision. Faith is not fragile, it is forged. The moment you speak light in the face of chaos, your shield flares with divine brightness. It is written in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 11. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. This armor is not symbolic, it is spiritual reality. The belt of truth, your foundation. The breastplate of righteousness, your protection. The helmet of salvation, your clarity. The sword of the Spirit, your precision. But above all, the shield of faith, your covering. You've seen arrows fly, rumors, rejection, misunderstanding, anxiety. Yet somehow, you are still standing. That is not luck, it is defense by design. Faith is the invisible barrier between you and destruction. It doesn't stop the attack, it stops the impact. When fear hurls its darts, faith absorbs them and transforms them into testimonies. When doubt rains down, faith raises itself like an umbrella against the storm. Even when your hands shake, heaven strengthens your grip. Think of a tree in a hurricane. The storm beats against it, bending its branches to the ground. Yet, if the roots are deep, the tree rises again once the wind is gone. That's you, chosen one. The deeper your faith roots into the Word, the stronger you stand when chaos strikes. The enemy wants to uproot you, but God has buried you too deeply in grace. Sometimes faith feels like standing in the rain, trusting that the flood won't sweep you away. Other times it's like walking through fire, believing the flames will only refine, not consume. It doesn't always feel glorious. Sometimes it just feels like refusing to quit. But that refusal is what terrifies darkness. The truth is, even warriors grow weary. Even prophets feel the weight of their call. That's why heaven sends reminders like this one, not to flatter, but to refuel. When you strengthen others, your own armor gleams brighter. When you share words that once healed you, the light multiplies. Think of it this way: a shield is strongest when lifted alongside others. One warrior can block one direction, an army standing shoulder to shoulder, becomes impenetrable. You are not meant to fight alone. When you share this message, you extend your shield over another soul. When you like and comment, you lift the banner higher so that those lost in the fog can find the campfire of hope again. If this word has reached your heart, consider helping keep this light burning. Not every battle requires a sword. Sometimes it requires a seed. Every gesture of support, every shared post, every act of generosity is another spark that keeps these messages reaching those who need them most. When you sow into light, you participate in rescue. When you donate, you are not just giving, you are shielding someone else from despair. No army survives without its supply lines. You may never meet the one your seed saves, but heaven will show you one day what your simple act preserved, like a lamp that needs oil to keep glowing through the night. This mission continues because of hearts like yours, hearts that refuse to let darkness win. So lift your shield again. Chosen one, the arrows may keep flying, but they will not prevail. You are surrounded, not by defeat, but by divine defense. Every blow the enemy meant for your destruction will become the sound of your strengthening. And as your faith rises, so does your influence. Others will look at your endurance and remember that hope is still alive. Your shield will not only protect you, it will inspire many to pick up theirs again. Stand tall, warrior of light. You are fully armed, fully known, fully protected. And as you lift your faith, you lift the world with you. The path divides before you now. Chosen one, you can almost feel the pull in both directions, the familiar comfort behind you, and the unknown light ahead. One road is smooth and wide, lined with noise, pleasure, and ease. The other is narrow, steep, and quiet, yet it hums with purpose. You are standing at the fork in the spirit road, and heaven watches to see which way you will turn. You have prayed for guidance, but sometimes the answer doesn't come as a sign in the sky. Sometimes it comes as a crossroads that forces decision. God will not choose for you. He will invite you to choose Him. Every destiny requires a moment like this, where your will meets His word. And hesitation could cost everything. The Spirit whispers, choose wisely. You feel the tension because both paths promise peace, but only one leads to it. The easy road offers relief, not restoration. It comforts the flesh while starving the soul. The narrow road feels painful. At first, it demands surrender, humility, obedience, but it ends in eternal protection. This is where divine covering dwells. Every chosen one must eventually reach this decision point. Heaven never reveals both endings, because faith is the price of the journey. God is asking not for perfection, but for pursuit. He's not waiting for flawless performance, but for fearless surrender. When you choose His path, heaven aligns resources. You cannot see people, opportunities, strength, favor. But when you delay, danger grows. The wider road never looks like destruction at the beginning. It looks like comfort, acceptance, and ease. Yet its end is hollow silence. There is a stirring inside you because your spirit already knows which way is right. It's the same road your heart has always been drawn to, but your fear has kept you from. The Spirit of the Lord is tugging you again, not to condemn, but to call you home. You've wandered long enough in circles, This time, step into obedience before the opportunity passes. Heaven speaks clearly through the book of Joshua, chapter 24, verse 15. Choose you this day whom ye will serve. Lick, you may feel the pull of the past habits, people, patterns that promise temporary peace. But each time you step back into what God has called you out of, you delay the miracle, waiting in the next chapter. Heaven will not bless what He once rescued you from. The same door He closed to protect you will remain sealed until you are ready to walk through a different one. This is not just a personal choice, it is generational. Your decision today determines the freedom of those who come after you. Every time you choose obedience, you break another curse. Every time you choose surrender, you open another door for blessing. The fork in the road is not about punishment, it is about legacy. It may feel lonely on the narrow road, but heaven populates it with angels. You will not walk it alone. There is fresh strength waiting on the other side of obedience. New vision, new favor. But you must step. Delay is danger. Distraction is defeat. Think of it like a river split in two streams. One flows quietly into stagnant marshland. The other rushes toward the open sea. Both look calm at first, but only one carries movement, renewal, and life. God's plan is that river that never dries up. It may look uncertain now, but once you step in, it carries you farther than you could ever walk on your own. If you've been hesitating, unsure which direction to take, this moment is heaven's mercy speaking again. You are being given the chance to choose the covering of God before the storm intensifies. You are being invited into the safer danger, the path where surrender becomes strength. This is not coincidence that you are hearing this now. It is orchestration. Heaven has brought you to this very moment, so you can decide before delay becomes disobedience. The presence of conviction is proof that grace is still available. When you feel your heart racing, that's your spirit confirming, this message is for you. You've been at this crossroads before, but this time, don't turn back. This time, take the narrow road. Heaven will meet you there with everything you thought you lost. Pause. Breathe. Let this settle deep within you. Then, seal your decision with a simple act of faith. Comment 888. That number is symbolic of new beginnings. Resurrection. Divine. Renewal. By writing it, you declare that you choose the road of obedience, the path of destiny, the way of divine covering. You are saying to heaven, I choose life. I choose purpose. I choose God's plan over my comfort. The fork in the road is no longer a place of fear, it is a door of glory. Step through, and you will never be the same again. Chosen one. You have carried the weight of many seasons, some of them so heavy, you wondered if you would ever stand upright again. You have walked through rejection, betrayal, and silence. And somewhere along the way, you began to believe that the pain was punishment. But heaven wants you to see differently now. The pain was not meant to destroy you, it was preparing you. You were not buried, you were planted. Every heartbreak was soil, every disappointment, a layer of depth. Every unanswered prayer was not God ignoring you, but God refining you. You see, diamonds are formed under pressure, and gold is purified by fire. The pain that seemed unbearable was shaping you into someone who could carry divine responsibility. Others could not handle what you've endured, but you were built for it. There were nights when your tears watered the ground of your own destiny. In those moments, God was nearer than you realized. He did not stop the pain because he was using it. You prayed for strength, and he answered with storms. You asked for wisdom, and he answered with waiting. You wanted clarity, and he answered with silence, because silence teaches trust better than words ever can. You have looked at your scars and called them evidence of failure, but heaven calls them marks of survival. Every wound that healed became a gate through which compassion now flows. You understand others' pain not because you studied it, but because you lived it. That empathy is sacred currency in God's kingdom. It gives you authority to heal the broken, because you know what it means to be broken. According to what is revealed in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. These are not just comforting words, they are divine logic. Nothing has been wasted. The heart breaks, the false starts, the unanswered prayers, all have been weaving together, a pattern you will only understand when you look back from the other side. The plan was never for you to remain wounded, but to rise as a healer. There were moments you asked, "Why me?" Heaven answered, "Because you would not quit." Your persistence in pain was your offering, and God accepted it. You were being prepared for influence, not applause, for responsibility, not recognition. You have learned to trust when no one clapped, to believe when no one confirmed, to endure when no one understood. That is how warriors are born. The pain that prepared you has built endurance into your spirit. You don't crumble like you used to. You don't break at the first sign of resistance anymore. What used to terrify you now only tests you. You've become spiritually unshakable because pain became your teacher. Remember, even Christ was prepared through suffering. Before he wore the crown of glory, he carried the cross of rejection. Before resurrection, there was crucifixion. You, too, are walking that divine pattern, not because God delights in your pain, but because he delights in your destiny. The cross always precedes the crown. There is something holy about what you've survived. It has made you gentle, yet unyielding, soft toward people, but firm in conviction. You now see through the surface into the spiritual. You discern motives, sense spiritual shifts, and feel burdens before they are spoken. That sensitivity is not weakness, it is weaponry. It makes you a vessel God can trust to carry his presence without pride. You are not the same person who entered the fire. The old you sought validation, the new you seeks vision. The old you feared loss, the new you sees it as liberation. Pain purified your motives, stripping away every false layer until only purpose remained. That's why the enemy couldn't destroy you. He was helping to reveal the version of you he feared most. So, when you remember the seasons that hurt, don't curse them. Thank God for them. Thank him for every door that slammed, every friend who left, every prayer that seemed unanswered. Each one removed something that could not travel where you are going. You are standing now not just as a survivor, but as evidence that endurance produces glory. The pain didn't just prepare you, it proved you. You are proof that what the enemy meant for evil, God repurposes for greatness. The story you carry will one day be the story that saves someone else from giving up. Chosen one. The hour has come for unveiling. The shadows that once hid the schemes of darkness are being split open by the light of divine exposure. What was done in secret is being brought to the surface. What was whispered in corners is being proclaimed from rooftops. Heaven is no longer allowing deception to stay disguised. You have prayed for clarity, and now it comes, but with it, revelation that may shake you. For a long time, you wondered why certain relationships suddenly felt uneasy, why certain environments began to feel heavy. That unease was not your imagination, it was discernment awakening. Heaven has been peeling back layers around you, revealing intentions, motives, and unseen forces that were quietly working to weaken your faith. The exposure of darkness is both mercy and warning. God exposes what He intends to heal or remove. Every season of elevation begins with revelation. You cannot rise while surrounded by what drains you. The light of truth is not cruel, it is cleansing. When God begins to expose darkness, it's not to embarrass you, it's to emancipate you. The light may sting at first, especially when it shines on people you trusted or systems you admired. But revelation always precedes restoration. As it is written in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 8, verse 17, "For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known and come to light." En plein, those words are not judgment, they are justice. Heaven never exposes to destroy the innocent, but to disarm the enemy. Every plot that was crafted against you in silence is being overturned. Every false narrative, every whispered lie, every hidden manipulation is losing its power under the radiance of divine truth. The light of heaven is now your defense. Do not be surprised when masks fall. Some who pretended to celebrate you will reveal they were sent to distract you. Others who criticized you will be the very ones forced to witness your rise. When God begins to reveal, He also begins to separate. This exposure is the pruning before promotion. You may feel grief as the unveiling happens, for exposure often breaks attachments. But remember, God only removes what endangers the promise. The relationships that collapse under truth were never built on covenant. They were built on convenience. Let them go. The light has not come to harm you, but to free you from the false safety of illusion. There are also hidden things within you that heaven is exposing, not to shame you, but to heal you. Patterns of thought that keep repeating, insecurities that open doors to fear, habits that quietly dull your fire. The Spirit shines His light not only around you, but within you. When He reveals, He redeems. Allow the exposure to complete its purpose. Some of what is being revealed will not make immediate sense. You may discover truths that break your heart before they bless it. But even painful revelation is a sign of divine favor. It means heaven trusts you with truth. You are maturing now. You are being taught to see without bitterness, to discern without despising. The same light that exposes also illuminates your path forward. Think of exposure like dawn before the sunrise. The landscape is hidden in gray mist. When light breaks, beauty and danger are revealed at once. You begin to see what was always there, the rocks you almost stumbled over, the thorns that once seemed like flowers. The same light that reveals the trap also reveals the way out. So, when truth begins to unfold around you, do not run. Stand in it. Let it wash over you until you can see clearly again. Truth may dismantle illusions, but it never destroys destiny. The world says ignorance is bliss. But heaven says, knowledge is freedom. The light may cost you comfort, but it will purchase peace. You will notice that as darkness is exposed, your discernment sharpens. Conversations that once confused you will now become transparent. You will read eyes, not just words. You will feel motives before they are spoken. This is not suspicion, it is spiritual maturity. God is teaching you to walk with eyes wide open in a world that loves disguise. Do not wish to return to blindness. The gift of sight is sacred, even when it hurts. It is better to see clearly and walk alone than to walk in false light, surrounded by deception. Heaven's exposure is not a loss. It is a new level of clarity where your purpose can finally breathe freely. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every divine journey when the whisper becomes a summons. You've been hearing it for a while now, that persistent call that rises above the noise of routine, that holy restlessness that won't let you settle. It's not anxiety. It's an awakening. Heaven is calling you higher. You have outgrown the place where you once fit. That is why comfort now feels uncomfortable. You try to return to old circles, old conversations, old patterns, but they no longer hold you. You have changed in ways that even you can't fully explain. The things that used to excite you now feel empty. The things that used to drain you now expose themselves for what they are. This is not confusion, it's ascension. When heaven begins to elevate you, it does so quietly. There is no grand announcement, no visible crown, just a shift in appetite. You start craving truth more than approval, presence more than pleasure, destiny more than distraction. The world will not understand this hunger, but heaven does. You are being drawn into the realm of the anointed, the place where ordinary ends and divine purpose begins. As it is written in the book of Revelation, chapter 4, verse 1, "Come up hither, and I will show you things that must be hereafter." That invitation is not only for prophets of old, it is for you now. Heaven is saying, come up higher. Step out of the noise and into revelation. The higher you climb in the spirit, the smaller the chaos below appears. The enemy's traps lose their power when seen from heaven's view. The attacks that once overwhelmed you become insignificant when you stand on the mountain of divine perspective. But elevation always demands separation. You cannot rise while clinging to what weighs you down. This is why certain people stopped walking with you. It wasn't betrayal, it was transition. They were assigned to your past, not your future. The climb requires lighter hands, clear vision, and pure motives. Not everyone can breathe at the altitude of your calling. Some relationships are like sandbags tied to wings. They must be released if you are to fly. Do not resist this pull upward. The higher place is not about pride, it is about purity. It's about stepping out of reaction and into revelation, out of fear and into faith, out of performance and into presence. God is not asking you to do more, He is asking you to come closer. The closer you come, the clearer your purpose becomes. You may feel lonely during this climb. The view changes, but so does the crowd. Few will understand why. You are no longer comfortable with gossip, compromise, or counterfeit peace. But heaven applauds what earth misunderstands. There is something mysterious about divine multiplication. It rarely arrives in the form you expect. Sometimes it's not wealth that doubles, but wisdom. Not possessions, but peace. not crowds, but clarity. God multiplies what matters most for your calling. He gives increase where it will serve eternity, not just emotion. You have matured enough now to receive what others might waste. You must inhale worship, exhale faith, breathe in truth, and release fear. The higher place requires spiritual lungs trained by trust. You have been chosen not only to hear God, but to echo Him. The words that will flow from you next season will not be opinions, they will be decrees. That's why the warfare has intensified, because heaven's voice is preparing to speak through yours. But the invitation remains personal. God will not drag you upward. He calls gently, persistently, through conviction and revelation. You must decide if you will keep climbing or stay where it's safe. The comfort zone is familiar, but it is also fatal to destiny. There are revelations waiting that only altitude can unlock. Chosen one. Pause for a moment and feel that pull again. It's not ambition, it's alignment. It's heaven saying, "You've seen enough from here. It's time to see more." If your spirit agrees, seal it now with a declaration of readiness. Comment, "I'm rising." Write it as a prophetic act, not as empty words. When you declare those two words, you align your spirit with heaven's command. You are saying, "I refuse to remain stagnant. I accept the invitation to ascend." And heaven takes note of such confessions. Angels respond to hearts that choose elevation, because the moment you choose to rise, the atmosphere shifts. Chains that once bound you lose their hold. Vision that once seemed blurry comes into focus. You begin to see, not from survival, but from sovereignty. The call is not for tomorrow, it is for now. Rise, and let heaven show you what comes next. Chosen one. You have walked through storms, stood beneath collapsing skis, and survived battles that others never saw. Now, heaven leans close, not to warn, but to renew its covenant with you. You are not just protected, you are promised. Every tear, every trial, every silent prayer has been stitched into the fabric of divine protection that surrounds your life. You walk beneath a covering that cannot be pierced by chaos. There is a sacred agreement between you and heaven. It was written not with ink, but with obedience. Every time you chose forgiveness over bitterness, faith over fear, surrender over struggle, you renewed that covenant without realizing it. The angels know your name, not because of fame, but because your endurance has become a melody in heaven's halls. You are covered by decree, shielded by design. As it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17, "No weapon formed against you shall ever prosper." That verse is not poetry, it is legal protection. It is heaven's signature across your life. It does not promise that weapons won't form, it promises they won't win. Arrows will fly, but they will miss. Tongues will rise, but they will fall silent. Storms will come, but you will walk out of them with unburned faith and untouched favor. Picture a lighthouse standing amid violent waves. The sea roars, the wind hammers, yet the light keeps burning. That is you, chosen one. You are the lighthouse anchored by covenant, shining through the tempest to guide others home. The waves are not your enemy, they are your stage. Every gust that tried to extinguish you has only proven how unshakable your foundation truly is. Sometimes, Though the battle doesn't look dramatic, it looks like exhaustion, like invisible heaviness pressing on your chest. That is when the covenant becomes your anchor. It whispers, "You are still mine. You are still protected." Even in moments when you doubt, heaven's promise doesn't waver. The covenant does not depend on your strength. It rests on his faithfulness. Every covenant has a cost and a continuation. The cost was your surrender. The continuation requires your connection. You must stay under the flow of divine covering, for isolation is where vulnerability begins. That's why community in faith matters. When you connect with words like these, you are not scrolling aimlessly. You are standing beneath a waterfall of grace. If this message has found you in a weary moment, let it remind you that protection requires participation. Just as a lamp cannot shine without oil, this flow of light exists because hearts like yours keep it burning. When you like, when you share, when you subscribe, you are not just engaging, you are expanding the circle of covering. Each action sends light into another home, another heart that might be one prayer away from giving up. Think of your support as pouring oil into a lamp that refuses to go out. When you give, you become part of the covenant's continuation. You help build shelters of hope in the digital wilderness. Every seed, every share, every donation is another stone in the altar of light that God is building through this mission. Do not underestimate what small acts can do. A single spark can set an entire forest ablaze. One act of generosity can turn a whisper of faith into a wildfire of transformation. When you contribute, you become a keeper of this light, a guardian of words that rescue the weary and restore the broken dot. Perhaps you have felt lately that your offering is too small to matter. But remember the widow's 2 coins. Heaven measures not by amount, but by alignment. Every drop of oil matters to the lamp. Every word of encouragement strengthens the shield that protects countless others. You, chosen one, are not merely a listener. You are part of the covenant's continuation. This is not just a message, it's a movement of protection, of restoration, of revival, and you are one of its pillars. So when you finish this word, let it sink deep. Your life is covered, your future is sealed, and your obedience keeps that covering strong. Every storm you survive becomes proof that the covenant still holds. You are not standing unguarded in the rain. You are walking beneath the umbrella of divine decree. You are not wandering through darkness. You are carrying a light that refuses to flicker. And when you share that light, it multiplies. It never divides. May you continue to walk boldly under the canopy of God's promise, knowing that even when weapons form, heaven already wrote their defeat. And if you have strength to give, faith to share, or light to extend, do so with joy. Every small act keeps this divine fire alive. There is a strange quiet in your life lately, isn't there? Chosen one, people are leaving, doors are closing, and spaces that once felt alive now feel hollow. You've asked God why so much is being taken away all at once. The answer is simpler and gentler than you expect. He is separating you. This is the moment of holy isolation, not as punishment, but as preparation. Every great calling demands a cleansing of company. Before God crowns, He clears. Before He elevates, He empties. And though it feels like loss, it is actually alignment. The separation you are experiencing is not rejection, it is redirection. Heaven is rearranging your surroundings so that you can walk lighter and hear clearer. For a long time, you tried to keep everyone close out of love, loyalty, or fear of loneliness. But some people cannot go where you are going. They were good for the last chapter, but not for the next one. When God calls you higher, the atmosphere changes. And not everyone can breathe at that altitude. Those who refuse to grow will feel discomfort near your transformation. At first, separation feels like heartbreak. You replay memories, question your worth, and wonder if you could have done something differently. But when the Spirit begins to move, no amount of nostalgia can hold back His flow. You must release what is finished so that what is eternal can unfold. Heaven is pruning your life like a master gardener, trimming a beloved vine. It may hurt in the moment, but every cut is calculated. As it is written in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 2, "Every branch that beareth fruit, He purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit." Those words explain the season you are in. You have been bearing fruit, faith, obedience, growth, and now the gardener trims, not because you are barren, but because you are fruitful. The pruning is proof of promise, not punishment. God sees potential you cannot see yet, so He cuts away what drains it. Sometimes He removes people. Sometimes He removes places. Sometimes He removes versions of you that no longer fit your destiny. You cannot walk into the next season carrying the same insecurities and fears that defined your last. So, He separates you from the noise until the new you can breathe without suffocating. In this separation, you may feel forgotten. You might look around and realize that the crowd is gone. The applause has stopped. The messages have slowed. That silence is sacred. God is speaking more clearly now than He ever did in the noise. He is teaching you to find His presence in the absence of people. You are being weaned off dependency on external affirmation. The same God who walked with Abraham away from his homeland, who pulled Moses into the wilderness, who led Elijah into solitude, that same God is drawing you into the quiet so you can hear Him without interference. Isolation is not exile when heaven is your company. Do not rush to fill the silence. Let it teach you. There are revelations that can only be received in solitude. The noise of others often drowns the subtle voice of instruction. When the crowd fades, you finally hear the whisper that shapes destiny. That is what God is after, not your loneliness, but your listening. You will discover, as you walk this lonely road, that peace begins to bloom again. The friends who left will be replaced by purpose. The empty spaces will fill with divine encounters. Your prayers will deepen. Your discernment will sharpen. And your confidence will root itself not in people but in presence. Separation is God's way of protecting your anointing from contamination. You can't pour clean oil into dirty vessels. Before God gives new power, He ensures purity. The people who once could walk beside you without resistance will now feel convicted by your growth. Don't shrink to keep them comfortable. Those meant to remain will adjust. Those meant to leave will drift away naturally. Soon, you will look back on this quiet season and realize it was sacred. The wilderness will become a womb, birthing a new version of you, one that knows how to walk with God without constant confirmation from the world. Do not mourn the pruning. Celebrate it. It means God trusts you enough to cut you closer to the core of your calling. The branches He trims will grow back stronger, bearing fruit that lasts longer. What feels like endings are actually beginnings, wearing unfamiliar clothes. Chosen one, take a deep breath. The silence is not empty, it is full of construction. God is building something in you that cannot be rushed. The season of separation is not forever, but what it produces will last for eternity. Let the pruning finish its work, for when it's done, you will be ready to carry glory without breaking beneath it. Chosen one, the air around you feels heavier now. The heat you sense in your spirit, the pressure that surrounds your heart, it is not punishment. It is purification. You are standing in the refining fire of God. This is the part of the process where heaven removes what cannot survive the weight of your future. The same flame that destroys impurities also reveals gold. You are that gold, hidden beneath the ash of old pain, pride, and fear. Every chosen vessel must pass through fire. There is no other way. You prayed for elevation, and God answered with heat. Fire is not cruel, it is honest. It exposes what cannot endure truth. It reveals what is genuine. It separates appearance from authenticity. Many say they want to be used by God, but few are willing to be refined by Him. You, however, were chosen because you can withstand the flame. You've wondered why it feels like everything around you is burning: relationships, opportunities, plans you carefully built. The truth is, what is divine will survive. What is temporary will turn to smoke. God is not trying to destroy you. He is ensuring that only what is eternal remains. You are being purified, not for punishment, but for purpose. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Malachi. Chapter 3, verse 3. He shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And 1. Notice the verse says, he shall sit. God does not pace in worry or panic over your process. He sits. He is calm, confident, in control. The flames that frighten you are the very tools He uses to shape you. Nothing is happening by accident. Every intensity has intention. Every heat has a holy purpose. Do not mistake discomfort for danger. What feels unbearable is actually making you unbreakable. Fire transforms what it touches. It either consumes or refines, depending on what it meets. For those who resist, it consumes. For those who surrender, it purifies. You are learning the sacred art of surrender, letting go of control, and letting God complete His work in you. The refining fire may have taken some things from you: comfort, certainty, companionship, but it has given you clarity, conviction, and courage. You now know what truly matters. You no longer chase temporary applause because you've tasted eternal approval. You no longer fear loss because you've learned that what burns away was never meant to stay. The heat you feel is not random, it is personal. God adjusts the flame according to your design. What would destroy another only refines you. You are being made rare, costly, and strong. That is why your process has felt different. You cannot compare your path to anyone else's, because your calling is unlike anyone else's. In this season, do not pray for the fire to stop. Pray for it to finish. Let it consume the last fragments of doubt, insecurity, and disobedience. Let it burn away the desire to be liked, the fear of failure, the weight of regret, You cannot enter your next level carrying yesterday's ashes. There will come a day when you will thank the fire. You will look back and see how it burned away. Everything false and left behind, only truth. The same fire that made you cry will one day make you shine. And when that day comes, you will no longer hide your scars. You will wear them as proof that you were trusted with transformation. Others will see your glow and ask how you survived. You will answer, I didn't just survive, I was refined. Chosen one. You are almost through the furnace. The heat will not last forever, but the glory it births will never fade. You are stepping into the version of yourself that fear cannot touch. The refining is not the end, it is the threshold. Pause here. Feel the warmth that once felt painful now turning into light. That's the sign. The process is working. The fire is no longer your enemy, it has become your forge. If you know this word speaks to you, mark this moment of transformation. Comment 4,444. That number is a declaration of stability, symbolizing that what was once unstable in your life is being set in divine order. By writing it, you are saying, I accept the refining. I trust the fire. I believe that God's hand is steady, even in heat. Heaven sees this as agreement, not superstition. The refining fire may be fierce, but you will emerge, shining proof that what is divine cannot be destroyed. Chosen one. The season of silence and fire has done its work. The ashes have settled. The flames have cooled. And from the ruins, something unrecognizable begins to rise. It is you renewed, armored, and awake. The pain that once defined you has transformed into strength. The confusion that once clouded your steps has become clarity. You are no longer a victim of warfare. You are a warrior forged by it. The rising of the warrior is not sudden. It begins quietly, deep within the soul. It happens when your spirit finally refuses to break. When you decide that fear no longer deserves your focus. You stand differently now, not because life got easier, but because your faith got stronger. The same storms that once threatened to drown you have become the rivers that carry you forward. You have discovered what few understand, that victory often hides in surrender. You learned that fighting doesn't always mean swinging your sword. Sometimes it means standing still while heaven fights for you. Your silence became strategy. Your waiting became warfare. Your tears became weapons. Every time you refused to give up, you gained ground in the unseen realms. As it is written in the book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 3, the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. No, this verse reveals something vital. You were never fighting alone. The commander of heaven's armies has been beside you all along, orchestrating victories you could not see. When you felt weakest, he was wielding strength on your behalf. The battles you thought you lost were actually ambushes set for your enemies. What looked like retreat was strategy. What felt like defeat was disguise. God hides his greatest triumphs inside your hardest trials. Now, as you stand upon the other side of your valley, you begin to realize the war was never just about survival. It was about transformation. The same forces that once threatened to destroy you have become the backdrop for your testimony. You walk differently now, not with fear, but with fire. There is authority in your voice because it has been tested in the furnace of endurance. Warriors are not born in comfort, they are carved in conflict. The nights you spent questioning your worth were not wasted, They built endurance. Every unanswered prayer, every delay, every heartbreak was part of your training. You have been equipped not just to endure warfare, but to command it. You've learned the rhythms of battle, the timing of retreat, and the power of patience. The world sees scars, heaven sees strategies. Look back for a moment. Every closed door you cried over, every betrayal that broke you, every injustice that stung each one was a battlefield disguised as heartbreak. But you survived. And not only survived, you've come out carrying spoils of wisdom, empathy, and spiritual authority. You can now speak life into others still trapped in the same darkness you once walked through. You are no longer merely someone who knows about pain. You are someone who has mastered peace in the midst of it. That is what makes you unstoppable. You have become dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Not because you shout loudly, but because you stand calmly. The devil loses his grip on those who no longer fear him. You are learning that warfare is not chaos, it is choreography. Every trial had timing, every opposition had purpose, and every victory had preparation. God was teaching you not to fight for victory, but from victory. The outcome was never uncertain. You just needed to learn the process. The warrior's rising is not about pride, it's about purpose. It's about realizing that your light carries authority, that your voice carries weight, that your obedience shifts atmospheres. You are the kind of warrior that hell recognizes, because every time it tried to silence you, you sung louder. Every time it tried to bind you, you broke free. You do not fight with bitterness, but with blessing. You do not retaliate with anger, but with intercession. You have learned the secret that frustrates darkness, that love is the deadliest weapon in heaven's arsenal. When you forgive, you win. When you bless those who curse you, you disarm every demonic plan. This is how true warriors fight, by choosing heaven's nature over hell's tactics. You stand now at the threshold of a new era. The armor that once felt heavy now feels natural. The sword in your hand gleams with confidence, not arrogance. You've been transformed from the trembling servant to the steadfast soldier. The wilderness is no longer your prison, it is your training ground. Chosen one, lift your eyes. You are not rising by your own strength. You are being lifted by divine decree. Heaven has declared you ready. The war has refined you, not defined you. You are stepping into the role you were always meant to play, a warrior of light, a carrier of truth, a living testimony that no weapon formed against you shall ever prosper. Stand firm. Warrior, your rising is not for applause, it is for impact. And though the world may not yet recognize who you've become, all of heaven does. Chosen one. You can feel it, the trembling of chains around your life. The old patterns that used to hold you no longer fit. The cycles that once repeated endlessly are beginning to fracture. This is the breaking of chains. Heaven has been working in silence, loosening what bound you for years, preparing you for complete freedom. You may not have heard the sound of the snap yet, but the shift has already begun in the spirit. Some chains are visible habits, addictions, fears you can name. Others are invisible guilt, generational pain, shame inherited like a shadow. You've carried burdens that didn't even begin with you, but they end with you. God chose you to be the breaker in your bloodline, the one who stops what destroyed generations before. That is why your battle has felt heavier than others. You are fighting not just for yourself, but for those who will come after you. For years, you thought you were cursed with bad luck or endless struggle, but heaven calls it an assignment. You are the bridge between what was and what will be. The chains that bound your ancestors will not pass through you. Every link that has held your family in cycles of fear, poverty, addiction, or heartbreak is being shattered under your obedience. What once ran in your bloodline stops at your feet, as it is written in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 36. If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. And that promise is more than spiritual poetry. It is a legal declaration from heaven's court. Freedom is not an idea. It is a decree. The moment you came into alignment with God's plan, the papers of liberty were signed in the unseen realm. But freedom does not always feel instant. Sometimes it feels like gradual unraveling. One link breaks at a time: thoughts, habits, fears, relationships, all loosening in divine order until nothing remains to bind you. You may notice that lately, certain things no longer hold your interest: music, conversations, even dreams you once chased. That's not boredom, that's deliverance. The appetite of the bound is different from the appetite of the free. God is rewiring your desires so that you no longer crave what once enslaved you. He is teaching your soul to prefer peace over chaos, wisdom over noise, truth over comfort. Freedom is not the absence of struggle, it's the awareness of authority. The enemy may still whisper, but he no longer commands. He may tempt, but he cannot tether. The locks that once kept you closed off from joy are rusting, falling away under the weight of light. Each prayer you pray, each boundary you build, each act of obedience is another strike against the chains. Sometimes, freedom looks like confrontation, facing truths you've ignored, forgiving those who wounded you, acknowledging pain you buried. You cannot heal what you will not face. And so, God in His mercy brings to the surface everything that still holds you captive. Not to shame you, but to show you the key was in your hand all along. There is a sound in heaven that follows every act of surrender. It is the sound of metal snapping, the sound of captivity losing its claim. You may not hear it with your ears, but your spirit feels it. That sudden peace after confession, that unexplainable relief. After prayer, those are the echoes of chains breaking. Freedom is contagious. When you rise, others will begin to rise. Your family will see the change in your eyes before they hear it in your words. Your peace will preach louder than any sermon. The light that shines from your freedom will expose the prisons around others. And soon they, too, will begin to walk out of the doors that once seemed sealed. The enemy fears your freedom because it multiplies. A freed soul carries authority. You no longer respond to life as a survivor, but as a conqueror. You are no longer reacting to pain. You are redeeming it. Every scar has become a key, unlocking doors for others. Look back for a moment. The things that once enslaved you: guilt, fear, doubt, where are they now? They may whisper from a distance, but they no longer dictate your direction. You walk now with the confidence of one who has tasted liberty. The breaking of chains does not end in shouting, it ends in peace. The kind of peace that no noise can disrupt, no weapon can wound, no lie can distort. You are standing in that peace now, even if your mind hasn't caught up to it yet. Chosen one, heaven rejoices over you. You are the living proof that what once seemed permanent can be broken. You are the evidence that God still liberates, still redeems, still releases. The chains are not just falling, they are dissolving, leaving no trace. No echo, no mark of bondage. You are not defined by what held you. You are defined by what you broke through. Freedom is your inheritance. And now it flows through you to everyone who witnesses your transformation. Walk forward, not as one escaping captivity, but as one carrying the sound of victory wherever you go. Chosen one. The air around you feels lighter now. The weight you carried for years has begun to lift, replaced by a quiet strength that cannot be explained. This is the moment heaven has been leading you toward the crowning. You've walked through the valley, faced the furnace, endured the silence, and now you stand where glory meets endurance. This is the season of the crown and the calling. You may not see the crown with your eyes, but your spirit feels it. It is the invisible mark of victory, the symbol of one who refused to give up when quitting would have been easier. Heaven places this crown not on the flawless, but on the faithful. Every tear that fell became a jewel, every scar a symbol of perseverance. You are not being rewarded for perfection, you are being honored for endurance. It is written in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8, "There is laid for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me." That crown is not just for some distant future, it is for now. It represents authority restored, dignity reclaimed, and destiny reaffirmed. The battles that nearly broke you have become the proof of your divine qualification. You were not chosen because you were ready. You became ready because you were chosen. Imagine a blacksmith crafting a crown from raw metal. Each hammer strike echoes through the workshop, shaping beauty from resistance. That is how God has shaped you. Every hardship, a strike. Every season of pain, a refinement. What looked like destruction was actually design. You are the masterpiece of perseverance, the art of endurance sculpted by grace. Your calling is not small, and heaven does not crown lightly. The weight of glory now rests upon your shoulders, not to burden, but to balance. You have been entrusted with influence, not to elevate self, but to lift others. The crown is a reminder. You survived not just for yourself, but for those who need your light. You are stepping into a season where your words will carry weight, your prayers will shift atmospheres, your obedience will unlock doors for others. Heaven has invested in your scars because they make you trustworthy. You've been tested in the dark so that you can be trusted in the light. Chosen one. Do not hide your story anymore. The world needs to hear how you made it through, how grace caught you when everything fell apart. There are people standing where you once stood, tired, uncertain, near, surroundé. When you speak, they will recognize themselves in your voice. That is the power of your testimony. It turns pain into prophecy. If this message touches you, if you feel the echo of recognition deep inside, then let your response be more than silent gratitude. Like this message so that the light reaches further. Share it. Not for numbers, but for names, the ones who might need this reminder tonight. Your act of sharing could be the lifeline someone else's faith clings to. And if you have found value in this flow of words, consider subscribing to stay under this stream of encouragement and revelation. Like rivers, light continues to flow when those who receive it help keep it moving. When you stay connected, You keep your spirit nourished. Some of you carry hearts generous enough to help sustain what sustains others. To you, this is not a request, it's an invitation. When you donate, you pour oil into this flame so it can keep burning through nights of despair for people you may never meet. It's not a transaction, it's participation in a movement of restoration. Every gift keeps the message alive for another wandering soul looking for hope. Think of this mission like a lighthouse built on the edge of a dark sea. The keeper tends the flame, but the light itself belongs to everyone lost in the waves. When you support it, you are keeping that beacon burning. You are ensuring that the weary will still find direction in the storm. Your crown is not made of gold or gems, it's made of purpose. Every act of faith, every moment of generosity, every time you extend grace where it wasn't earned. You polish that crown, and as it gleams, others will see it not as pride, but as proof of God's faithfulness. You stand now as a living monument to divine endurance. The world may see an ordinary person, but heaven sees royalty clothed in humility, crowned with obedience. You've become the evidence that grace is greater than grief and that purpose always outlives pain. When you finish this message, pause for a moment. Place your hand over your heart and remind yourself, I am crowned for a cause. That is what this season is about, living with purpose, leading with love, and letting your light inspire others to rise. And if this word has met you right where you needed it, leave a mark of agreement in the comments. Speak life into this moment. Tell heaven you're ready to wear your crown well. Chosen one. The moment has come when your strength is no longer just for survival, it is for service. You have been refined, equipped, crowned, and now heaven sends you forth. The solitude has ended. The preparation is complete. And your steps are no longer random, they are rhythmic, orchestrated by divine command. You are now part of heaven's army, the march of the anointed. This army does not move with swords and shields, but with words and presence. You carry peace as a weapon, mercy as armor, and truth as your banner. When you walk into a room, light enters with you. When you speak, confusion loses its grip. You are not just surviving the war, you are changing its outcome. Heaven calls you not only a warrior, but a liberator. You've been trained to rescue others from the very chains that once bound you. Every battle you endured has become a tool in your hands. Your pain became a language, your endurance a compass. You know now how to reach the broken because you recognize their silence. You sense pain in others, not through pity, but through shared memory. God didn't waste a single tear. He turned them into blueprints for ministry. As it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, Arise, shine, your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. That command is not metaphor, it is motion. Heaven is not requesting, it is commissioning. Arise means it's time to move. Shine means it's time to reveal. You are not waiting for permission anymore, you are stepping into purpose. The same glory that once felt distant now rests on you. You carry it not as a title, but as a torch. The world around you grows darker, not because the light has failed, but because it's your turn to shine. The noise of deception grows louder, but so does the authority within you. You are not here to argue with darkness, you are here to replace it. Your presence is confrontation enough. When you walk in love, lies lose their footing. When you speak truth, confusion shatters. You may not feel qualified for this mission, but qualification was never the requirement. Consecration was. You have been purified through pain, steadied by silence, empowered by revelation. That is heaven's credential. God calls those who will carry his heart, not those who parade their own. And he chose you because you proved in the wilderness that you could handle both power and purity. The march of the anointed is often misunderstood. The world may label you strange, intense, overly spiritual, but heaven calls you essential. You were never meant to blend in, you were meant to break patterns. Your voice, your vision, your life, it all carries a sound frequency that the world desperately needs to hear. In this army, there are no spectators. Every prayer you whisper adds movement to heaven's cause. Every act of kindness releases ripples through eternity. Every time you choose faith over fear, you push darkness one step back. You are not one among many. You are a link in a divine chain reaction of grace. As you march, you will begin to notice that help appears in unexpected ways. The same Spirit that anointed you will orchestrate alliances, people who carry complementary fire. Some will teach, some will heal, some will build, and some will speak. Together, you will form a symphony of impact. Do not be discouraged when opposition arises. It is proof of impact. Resistance is the shadow that follows light. The enemy does not chase those who are idle. He chases those who are advancing. Every obstacle is confirmation that you are moving correctly. The march of the anointed is not a sprint. It is endurance. There will be moments when the road feels long, when gratitude turns to fatigue, and purpose feels distant. In those times, remember the voice that called you, arise, shine. The same glory that sent you will sustain you. And when you look around and see others rising beside you, know that heaven's army is vast. You are not alone in this mission. Across nations, languages, and generations, the chosen are marching. Each step, each act, each word releases waves of light that overlap, creating an ocean of illumination the darkness cannot extinguish. Chosen one. The world feels different. Now, quieter, heavier, as though time itself is holding its breath. You can sense it, can't you? The trembling in the air, the subtle weight pressing against your spirit. It isn't fear, it's awareness. You stand at the edge of eternity's threshold, where mercy and justice meet. The danger is real, but so is the promise. The final warning has been spoken, and the eternal promise now waits for your response. You have heard the words, walked through the refining fire, and carried the revelation. Yet heaven whispers again, not with panic, but with purpose. Remain awake, for though your soul is secure, the world around you drifts deeper into shadow. The danger now is not destruction from without, but deception from within. It creeps quietly, clothed in comfort, speaking soft words that make surrender seem unnecessary. That is how hearts grow cold. That is how chosen ones forget what they were chosen for. There is a storm that does not roar, it lulls. It hums with distraction, with endless noise, with a false peace that dulls discernment. That is why you are being reminded once more. Vigilance is the guardian of destiny. Heaven's protection does not cover the careless, it surrounds the watchful. The moment you grow numb, the shield begins to thin. But when you stay alert, Even the fiercest storm cannot breach your covenant. As it is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 1, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." Those words are not poetry, they are instruction. To dwell means to remain, to stay rooted in presence, to live beneath divine protection, not merely visit it. The shadow of the Almighty is not a place you stumble into, it is a position you guard with awareness, prayer, and obedience. The enemy cannot touch what hides beneath that shadow, but you must choose to stay there. In this hour, the battle is subtle. It is not about grand rebellion, but quiet neglect of prayer, neglect of gratitude, neglect of focus. The danger grows when the sacred becomes routine, when the miraculous becomes ordinary. But you, chosen one, have been awakened too deeply to sleep again. You have seen too much, survived too much, to return to blindness. The eternal promise remains unshaken. Those who remain under the covering of God's plan will not be lost. Even when the world trembles, those anchored in His will stand firm. The winds will howl, and the foundations of nations may shake, but the one whose roots are planted in divine truth will not be moved. You are that one. Your faith is no longer fragile. It has been fortified through fire. Yet, even with all you have learned, the warning must still be spoken, because danger does not always appear as darkness. Sometimes it appears as light without life. There will be teachings, trends, voices claiming revelation, but carrying none of His presence. There will be movements dressed in holiness, but devoid of humility. Do not be seduced by imitation fire. True flame does not demand attention. It transforms quietly, steadily, purely. You will know what is genuine by the peace it carries. This is not the time to hide in fear. It is the time to stand in discernment. The world needs clarity, and your life is meant to embody it. You are not here to echo confusion, but to anchor truth. The presence of the chosen in dark times is not accidental, it is strategic. Heaven plants its strongest lights in the densest night. That is why you are where you are now. The eternal promise stands. Those who cling to God's plan will see redemption. Even when others see ruin, you will walk through shaking ground, but not sink. Pass through fire, but not burn. Cross through chaos, but remain calm. Because protection is not a fence, it is a presence. It is the nearness of God that keeps you safe, not the absence of trouble. The danger remains. Yes, but it has no dominion. The promise stands firm. Yes, and it has no expiration. You were born for this hour, chosen for this generation, anointed for this very moment in time. Heaven does not choose carelessly. You are the answer to prayers spoken long before you were born. So now, as the final warning settles in your heart, remember this: the safest place is not in the absence of battle, but in the center of obedience. The secret place of the Most High is your dwelling, your shield, your eternal refuge. Stay there, guard it, live from it. For though the world may tremble, those who abide in His shadow will never fall. And you, chosen one, are among them, forever sealed by promise, forever protected by presence. Chosen one, take one last deep breath. Let every word you've read settle into the quiet places of your heart. You have walked through revelation, fire, and freedom. You have risen from pain into purpose. This is not the end, it is the unfolding. Heaven has not finished speaking. It has only just begun revealing. If these words have met you where silence once sat, if you have felt seen, strengthened, or stirred, then let your response become part of the light. Like this message, as a simple whisper of gratitude to heaven for finding you. Share it so another weary soul can discover their strength again. When light is shared, it multiplies. It never divides. Comment below. What word or phrase touched you most? Your reflection may become the sentence that rescues someone else tonight. And if your heart desires to stay near this flow of divine encouragement, subscribe, not for habit, but for connection. Each word that follows will build upon the truth already planted within you. You are chosen, covered, and called. The story doesn't end here, it continues through every act of faith that follows. Until we meet again, keep shining, keep standing, keep walking in purpose.